Hi everyone, my name is Alex, and I need to get something off my chest. I'm not here to complain, and I'm definitely not looking for sympathy. I just want to share my story. Something happened in my life that completely shook me, something I never thought I'd go through. It's messy. I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me because my boss accidentally sent me a photo meant for her. Yeah, that's how it started. It was a normal Tuesday. I was at my desk halfway through a boring report when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something told me not to. I opened it. A picture, a hotel room, dim lighting, two wine glasses on the table, and in the mirror, I saw him, my boss, shirt half unbuttoned, smirking like he always does in meetings. Below the photo was a message. Can't wait to see you again tonight. My stomach dropped. I stared at it for a full minute, thinking maybe this wasn't what it looked like. Then my phone buzzed again. Another message. Oops, wrong number. My hands started shaking. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Instead, I opened Instagram and went straight to my girlfriend's profile. She had posted a story 10 minutes ago. Black screen, caption, "Miss you already." That's when something inside me cracked. Because she told me she was visiting her sister tonight, and my boss, he had a business dinner. I sat there in silence, heart pounding, trying to convince myself it was a coincidence. But deep down, I already knew the truth. And then my boss walked past my desk, looked straight at me, and smiled. Like he knew something I didn't. Or worse, like he knew exactly what I had just seen. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I played it cool. Or at least, I tried to. The rest of the day felt unreal. Every email, every meeting, just noise. My brain kept replaying that photo over and over again. Hotel room, wine glasses, his face, her story. It all lined up too perfectly. At 6 p.m., I packed my stuff and left like nothing was wrong. But instead of going home, I drove to the hotel. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Desperate, crazy. But I needed proof. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I parked across the street and just waited. Every car that pulled in made my heart jump. Every couple that walked through those doors felt like a punch in the gut. Then, around 7:20, I saw her. My girlfriend. Same jacket she wore this morning, same bag, same smile. But she wasn't alone. He stepped out of the car right behind her, my boss. He placed his hand on her lower back like it belonged there, like I never existed. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white. "Don't do it," I whispered to myself. "Don't lose it here." They walked inside together, no hesitation. No guilt, nothing. I sat there for another 10 minutes, frozen. Then I grabbed my phone and did something I never thought I would do. I texted her. "Hey, how's your sister?" 3 dots appeared almost instantly. "Good. Just talking. Why?" I laughed, actually laughed out loud, and then I replied, "Send me a picture." There was a long pause this time, too long. And then my phone buzzed again. But it wasn't her. It was him. The message from my boss said, "Don't do this. That's it. Nothing else. No explanation, no denial. Just don't do this." My chest felt tight. So he knew I knew, and instead of apologizing or even pretending, he was warning me. I stared at the screen, trying to process it. Then my girlfriend finally replied, "Why are you being weird? No picture, no proof. Just deflection." I felt something shift inside me right then. The hurt was still there, but it was being replaced by something else. Anger. Cold, focused anger. I typed back, "Because I know you're not at your sister's." No response. A full minute passed. Then 2. Then 5. Finally, "What are you talking about?" I almost admired it. The confidence. The audacity. So I sent her the photo. The one he accidentally sent me. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. And then nothing. Completely silent, I leaned back in my seat, staring at the hotel entrance. "Come on," I muttered. "Say something." But she didn't. I saw movement inside, through the glass doors. 2 figures, her and him, walking toward the exit, together. And the look on her face, that's when I realized she wasn't scared, she wasn't sorry, she was annoyed, and she was coming straight toward me. I didn't get out of the car, I couldn't, my entire body felt locked. She walked up first, knocked on the window, like this was normal, like we were just meeting after work. I rolled it down slowly, "What are you doing here?" she asked. No panic, no guilt. I stared at her. "Really?" I said. "That's your first question?" She crossed her arms. "You're overreacting." Overreacting. I actually felt my vision blur for a second. Then he walked up behind her. Calm. Collected, hands in his pockets. "Let's not make a scene," he said. That voice, the same one he uses in meetings when someone messes up. I laughed. "You're kidding, right?" He looked at me like I was a problem to manage. "Not a person. Go home," he said. "We'll talk tomorrow." Tomorrow. At work. Like this was just another task on the agenda. That's when something snapped. I got out of the car. Stepped closer. "Did you really think I wouldn't find out?" She rolled her eyes. "Find out what? That I'm not happy?" That hit harder than anything. Not the cheating. Not the lies. I looked at her, really looked, and realized I didn't recognize her anymore. And then she said something that changed everything. "You haven't been enough for me in a long time." I didn't yell, I didn't argue, I just stood there trying to process what she said. Not enough. 2 words. That's all it took to erase everything we had. My boss stepped in again. "Let's end this here," he said calmly, like he was closing a meeting. I turned to him. "You think you won?" I asked. He didn't answer, he didn't need to. That silence said everything. I looked back at her. Was any of it real? She hesitated. Just for a second, but I saw it, and that hurt more than anything. "Go home," she said quietly. That was it. No apology, no explanation, just go home. So I did. I got in my car, drove away, didn't even look back. But the entire way home, one thought kept repeating in my head. This isn't over, not even close, because if they thought I was just going to disappear, they didn't know me at all. And the next morning, I walked into the office early, earlier than anyone else, sat at my desk, opened my laptop, and started digging. Because if my boss wanted to play this game, he had no idea how much I had to lose, or how far I was willing to go. And what I found in his emails changed everything. I spent the night combing through everything I could find. Emails, calendar entries, even company chat logs. By 8 a.m., I had proof. Not just a hunch anymore. They weren't just sneaking around. They were brazen. Every lunch, late meeting, business trip mapped out. Every single one lined up with her lies. I stared at my screen and felt something I didn't expect. Rage, yes, but also opportunity. They thought I was the fool, that I would just sit there, heartbroken, and let them ruin me. But I had leverage now. The first step? Patience. I couldn't confront them yet. Not openly. Not without witnesses. I started small, subtle questions to her, innocuous mentions of schedules and where I was today. Watching her reaction, she flinched once, just once when I mentioned a hotel she'd said she'd never visited. I smiled to myself. Jackpot. Then came the emails. I'd printed everything, hid copies in my bag, and brought them to work. They had meetings today. Both of them. Together. I walked past the conference room, my heart pounding, just long enough to peek. And there they were, laughing, close, too close, her hand resting lightly on his arm. My stomach turned, and then the impossible happened. He looked up, directly at me, not shocked, not guilty, smirking, like he was daring me to do something. That was the first time I realized this wasn't just cheating, this was a power play, and I wasn't going to lose. But before I could act, the HR director appeared behind me, frowning. "Can I see you in my office?" she said. My heart sank, because she wasn't here for a friendly chat. HR's office smelled like coffee and fear. I sat across from her, trying to act normal. Too normal. "Your performance has been slipping," she said casually. "Attendance issues, missed deadlines." My chest tightened. She was accusing me, not them. I swallowed hard. I've been fine," I said. She raised an eyebrow. "Is that why your team is complaining about tense interactions?" Tense interactions. My face burned. Then she leaned in, lowered her voice. "Look, I know what's happening." I blinked. You know?" She nodded. "I've had my suspicions for weeks. But proving it, that's on you." A mix of relief and horror hit me. Relief that someone else knew. Horror that this was now a trap I had to navigate carefully. "HR doesn't usually get involved," she continued. "But if you handle this wrong, your career is toast." I clenched my fists under the desk. Career, heart, life, all in the balance. Then came her warning. Do nothing rash, but gather evidence. Everything. And whatever you do, don't confront him in anger. I nodded, pretended I understood. But inside, my head was a storm. I left the office with a plan. Step 1. Subtle sabotage, not enough to be noticed, but enough to unsettle him. Step 2. Gather witnesses. Colleagues who'd seen late nights, suspicious messages, any odd behavior. Step 3. Wait for the perfect moment. I sat at my desk pretending to work, watching them through the glass walls. Their laughter echoed a knife twisting in my chest. And then I noticed something odd. A sticky note on his monitor. My name on it. Only one word. Watch. I froze. Watch. Was it a threat? A warning? Or was he just cocky, flaunting what he thought he'd already won? I couldn't tell. Not yet. I spent the rest of the day in a fog. Every glance from him felt loaded. Every smile from her cruel. At lunch, I overheard them joking with coworkers. About me, about my paranoia. The audacity. That night, I went home and pored over every text, every email, every picture. There it was again, a thread I hadn't seen before. Dates, times, hotel rooms, all lined up with company business trips. But there was a pattern, something hidden in plain sight. I copied everything onto a USB. The next morning, I walked into work with it in my pocket. I had a plan, and yet before I could act, I heard her voice behind me. Funny seeing you so early. I turned. She was smiling, but the eyes cold. What do you want? I asked, trying to keep my tone casual. She laughed softly. Just checking in. A casual check-in, that's all. But I knew better. She wanted to see if I'd crack. And I almost did, because then he appeared from around the corner, and he wasn't smiling. Not at me, at her. And something terrifying flashed across his face. Recognition. Fear. Or maybe guilt? I didn't have time to process. I had to move first. That afternoon, I stayed late, pretended to work on spreadsheets, but I was really plotting. I emailed myself copies of all the messages, all the pictures, all the suspicious business trips, safe backup, insurance. I saw him leave for a meeting. She followed him with a small smile. Perfect. I snuck into the empty conference room, set up my phone camera. I needed indisputable proof, them together, in the act. Minutes passed, my heart beat in my ears, and then I heard voices outside. Not theirs, someone else's, another coworker laughing. A client, maybe? I peeked through the blinds and saw something that stopped me cold. Not just him and her, but another figure, another employee. She was laughing too. Too comfortable. Too familiar. What the hell? Before I could process, a knock on the door. Everything okay in here? I spun around and froze. It was him. He knew I was watching. He was standing there, staring at me like I was a bug he could crush. You shouldn't be here, he said, calm but sharp. I could say the same, I replied, heart hammering. She was behind him, awkward, unsure which side to take. Then he laughed. Just a little, quiet, cruel laugh. I wonder, how much do you actually know? I realized then that this was bigger than just them. Something else was going on, something I hadn't seen. I tried to hide my panic. Enough, I said. I'm done hiding. He smirked. Bold. But bold doesn't save you. I left the room, heart racing, my mind spinning. But I knew one thing for certain. He just made a mistake. And I was about to capitalize on it. The next day at work, everything was a performance. I pretended nothing had happened, smiled, nailed every task, took every call. But I was watching, always watching. Then came the first opportunity. A careless message from him, sent to the wrong group chat. It referenced our little arrangement, and a date she'd lied about. I saved it, screenshot, backed up. Every piece of evidence added fuel to my fire. By the afternoon, I had enough to corner her privately. I called her to the stairwell. Quiet, isolated. Why are you doing this? I asked. She just shrugged. Because you weren't enough. That hit again like a punch to the ribs. I left her there trembling. Not out of fear, but out of rage. And I realized this was no longer about love. This was about justice. I started setting traps, small, careful traps. I copied confidential documents to places only he could access. I monitored emails, not to ruin my career, yet, but to expose the truth when the time came. Then came the unexpected. A coworker I trusted approached me. I think they're planning something. With you, she said, eyes wide. What do you mean? I asked. They know you're suspicious, and they're trying to cover it up. Be careful. I realized then they weren't just careless lovers, they were predators, and I had to be smarter. By 5 p.m., I had a plan to catch them in the act, and that night, I finally had my shot. I followed them after work, keeping my distance. The hotel again, same one as before, but this time, I wasn't just watching, I had hidden cameras, my phone ready. They entered the room, laughing, flirty, unaware. And then, the twist. Another man, someone high up at the company, joined them. I couldn't believe it. This was bigger than I imagined. I almost dropped my phone. Almost. But I stayed. I recorded everything. By the time I left, I had enough evidence to destroy careers, or at least to level the playing field. The next morning, I walked into the office like nothing had happened. But I wasn't the same. Every glance at him, every smile from her, it felt like fire. I decided to test him. I need access to the client files for the Miller account, I said casually. He frowned. You? That's unusual. I smiled. Unusual gets results. He hesitated, and that hesitation told me everything. I knew the power had shifted, and by the end of the day, I had planted the seeds for the ultimate confrontation. I invited HR to a casual meeting. Of course, they didn't know it was about the affair and the evidence I'd gathered. But I presented everything, every photo, message, and email, every lie, every cover-up. HR's face went pale. You're serious? She asked. Absolutely, I said. This isn't personal, it's about accountability. By the end of the meeting, HR promised a formal investigation. I walked out feeling triumphant, but also nervous, because they were about to fight back, and they wouldn't go down quietly. They started acting differently immediately. He avoided my desk, stopped making small talk. She faked smiles, but I could see the cracks. But then, something terrifying happened. I received an anonymous email. Stop digging, or you'll regret it. My stomach dropped. Threats. From him? Or someone else? I couldn't back down now. I doubled down, gathering more proof, recording secret meetings. And then, I overheard her whispering to someone in the break room. He's dangerous, we need to get rid of him first. I froze. This was war, and I wasn't going to lose. The investigation ramped up. HR called both of them in. My evidence was airtight, but they tried to spin it, twist the story. He's paranoid, she said. Just trying to ruin us, he said. HR didn't buy it. By the end of the week, both of them were on formal leave pending the investigation. For the first time, I felt relief, but that relief was short-lived, because in his office, I found something I hadn't expected. A folder, labeled My Revenge. Inside the folder were personal files, client info, and emails detailing schemes against me. He had been planning to sabotage my position at work all along. I realized then, this was bigger than cheating. This was manipulation, power, control. And I decided I wouldn't just defend myself, I would destroy him. Carefully, precisely. By the next day, I had sent copies of the incriminating emails to HR, legal, and upper management. Their faces when they saw it, priceless, and the best part, he didn't know I had done it. Yet, the confrontation was inevitable. They called me into a meeting, I sat across from them, calm, collected. I know everything, I said. His face paled. Her smile faltered. You, what? He stammered. I've documented everything, I said, and I've made sure management knows. She gasped. Alex, wait. I'm done listening to excuses, I interrupted. You both manipulated, lied, and betrayed. Now, the consequences are on you. HR entered. The investigation was finalized. Terminations were on the table. I walked out of that office, victorious. But my heart still ached. Weeks later, both of them were gone. The office felt lighter. My team smiled again. I had survived betrayal, manipulation, and heartbreak. But I wasn't the same. I learned about power, trust, and how quickly people can become someone you don't recognize. I still see her sometimes in emails or Slack, and I remember the pain. But I also remember this. I didn't crumble. I fought back. I took control. And the final twist, a new opportunity came my way. Promotion, respect, and a chance to rebuild everything they tried to take from me. The scars remain, but so does the fire. Because some stories don't just end, they evolve.